Sorry about that. Wow, lots of strangeness going on right now. I'm not sure where this music is coming from.
Hey, I was jamming to it.
Okay.
I was like, I've never heard this before, and I was rocking out. So I was enjoying it. It was meant to be.
Yeah, I know where it is, but it's like it should be off.
I like the vibe. Got me already in tune.
Very delayed.
Got a lot of energy in the room today, eh?
I'm not sure what I need to do. Okay. Are we back to normal yet?
Yeah.
No, we're not.
No, not yet. I see we already got people saying hello, Harley. How you guys doing? Messages coming in.
Do you have this on live on your phone or anything?
No, I don't have anything online. No.
Harley and Katie are in. I'm not sure what's going on, everyone. That's so funny.
I don't hear any sound right now.
You're not getting any sound?
No, I hear you, but I don't hear any music or anything like that at
No,
all.
I've turned off that. But
Okay.
what's happening, it's like a replay of everything we're saying.
Oh no, I don't hear that either. I honestly I only hear you at the moment,
Okay.
and
I'm
that's
still
it.
hearing a replay. Hold on a minute. Let's see.
Do you have two windows up? I'm assuming.
Hopefully, does that work? Is that better now? Okay. I am not hearing an echo. Okay, good. Whew. All right.
Excellent.
I figured it out. Let's go. Okay. Welcome in, everyone. Um, you know me. I'm Julie with Love Riot Warriors, and thank you for coming in to Communication and Connections. I want to introduce you to Montell Hero. Now, I met him at Phoenix Psychic Fairs, and he's also been to Awakenings of Phoenix and did a talk there on what he does. And I think I met you about 2 years ago or something like that. And just seeing him in the community for that long. So I was very excited that you wanted to come on and talk with me or communicate and
Hmm.
have some unique conversations. And I didn't realize that you are a mystic,
Hmm.
Montell
Well,
Hero.
right, and that in itself is just describing the way of thinking and the outlook. And honestly, I think with that description, there's a lot of us that are mystics, you know, but we have so many ideas to pull from, and it's all the thought process is so ingrained in so many different ideas that we don't necessarily put our finger on it, right? So I believe I sent you some. Do you still have that on you?
Yes, I meant to upload it and I will upload it while you're talking.
Hmm.
And that way I can show that to everybody. I did put it in the description, so it is there as well.
Right.
So let me get
So to me, a mystic is someone who can, and they have different terms for it as well. They have terms such as seer, depending on your background, medicine man. They have it also healer as well. But with me, the idea of mystic is someone who just lives life and it just comes naturally to them. So for me, I came into uh, life already kind of knowing and having gifts, just like everyone else, right? But very early on, my setup in my family, it was reinforced through uh, generations of their understanding about life, their belief systems, and everything, and then also from the what we call the spiritual side, them coming in and visiting as they're still doing that. Like I told you, last night was crazy coming in and and really saying, "Hey, Montell, make sure you mention this. Make sure you mention that." So it's a for me. I have a in foot what we would call both worlds in linear thinking, right? So it's kind of like, for instance, it's like I eat breakfast with humans, but all at the same time with their ancestors and their um, what we call deceased family members, but they're really just on a whole nother dimension. And I've been honored enough to be able to have access to that dimension while living in the physical body. And because of that, life has been extremely exciting, very, very interesting lessons, and tremendous amount of joy and satisfaction as long as you are able to understand what is being brought to you. Because once lessons are brought to you, sometimes you want to disregard it and say, "Why me?" And what I've learned um, is that the reason why it's you is because it's meant for you. It's your life. It's supposed to be exactly designed in this form, and if understood fully, you'll be able to progress through the what you may think that are challenging times. So, it's interesting. The idea of shadow work is is work that you. It's almost like work that you put behind you, right? So for me, because whenever I see something, I know that everything is a vibration of fabric of reality. So instead of thinking that things are supposed to be one manner, my mind stays clear and I just accept everything that has been brought in so many different forms. And and by doing that, the this quote or the saying, um, the eyes can't see if the mind is blind, or something along that line, right? And it may be said a little differently, but it's to where it's just like I understand that if you understand how the body works, or how when you're taught something, you're meant to look for something, right?
Mhm.
But I put down all belief systems, I put down all ways of thinking, and I just accept what is. And by doing that, there's been so many opportunities to learn and uh, just develop new healing techniques. Um, and that happens at a very rapid pace. So the energy that flows through me whenever I do healings is it's a little I hear it's a little different, because of just people that I work with. But for me, it's just one of those things that this is just who I've been, since a very young age. So yeah. And also I apologize. My young my young wolf hears me talking, so he's getting a little
Oh,
excited over there. And he said, "Dad, are you talking to me right now?" So I apologize if you guys can.
it's okay. I was going to say, if he wants to join,
Well,
whatever's easier for you, because
he definitely would. I probably see if he settled down right now, but if he gets a little, rambunctious, I probably let him come and sit by my feet or something right now. So right now, I was hoping that he'll be okay just by relaxing his home, his house over there. So, but he said I want in on the conversation. I said, "Son, not right now." And he's a husky, so they're vocal with everything as well. So yeah, yeah.
now is he part wolf and part husky?
Well, no,
You
he's
just
full
both.
blood. He's full blood, but he looks like a wolf to me. His dad was actually a red husky. His mother was like a gray, so he has a mixture of both, and he looks like a mystic pup. That's what he looks like. So he looks magical. and he's elegant. He's huge now. I know you probably seen pictures of him posted on. Now he's tall now, so he's not a lap pup anymore. He's a full grown wolf, and he's like one of those. He reminds me of one of those. What is it, Twilight? One of those wolves off the Twilight. Have you ever seen those? They're huge,
Yes, yes.
huge. So he's getting there and very quickly. So he's filled with love. Let's just say that he's full of love, and he'll let you have it. Yeah. So
I
so
had a part Siberian Husky, a wolf. They said a hybrid, whatever. And his eyes were white with blue rims.
yeah, yeah, and that yeah, and he's pretty much he's like he has a little bit of like a white with blue and everything on there. He
Oh,
made me look over there at him.
yeah.
Yeah, he's along that line and extremely smart, and that's the most hilarious thing. He learned quickly. I probably had him for a week, and he was already trained of where to go for the restroom and everything else. He rarely made any type of mistakes, and if he did make a mistake, it's only because I didn't get to the door fast enough. So, but besides that, extremely friendly. I think because he's so big, he kind of intimidates other dogs in the neighborhood or other people because how fast he grew. But he's extremely friendly, so he always wants to play. So he's just don't realize how big he is, so he's bouncing around. But besides that, he's brilliant and a blessing in family's life and everything. Kids love him and likes to wrestle with him. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. Yes, I miss mine, but I miss all my dogs.
yeah,
But I know they're better off where they're at. So,
yeah. Well,
yeah.
and what's interesting as well, I know there was another person on your show that was asking about their dog, and the funny thing about that is uh, they never necessarily leave you, and they're with you for a certain amount of time to remind you about, hey, everything's going to be okay. Hey, let me also be a reflection of how you feel about yourself, because just like children, they pick up tendencies, right? So when they pick up tendencies, you're able to actually see what am I actually exerting into the world that I don't realize, So uh, they're magnificent beings, and they're always with us. I
Yeah.
remember having walking through the dream world, and all the dogs from my past was all in there and pounced on me and everything. And it's once people are able to understand that a dream is just an extension of life, then that's necessarily how you make your dreams become reality into this type of dimension, right? So to get back to when we think about like grieving or loss or anything along that line, it's like the only time that a person thinks they're grieving is just because they haven't really figured out how to tap into that dimension where you're truly from. So that's another thing that uh, I teach about. How can we tap into that dimension where we from, and how is it ingrained in the dimension that we're in right now?
And I know I can feel Taz was the wolf's name. Um, I can feel his energy with me and
Mhm.
all the time, and he's definitely getting my attention. Um, but I just miss the physicality of them.
Okay.
And that's basically all
Hmm.
it is. I know
Hmm.
their energy is with me, and they definitely steer me in the right directions when I need to be steered. So
Well, and it's interesting that you said it. Thank you for opening that door to for discussion. We think about the physical aspect of everything, of feeling, and I think in order to achieve what you're trying to achieve, to be able to feel them, like I said, my experience is being able to eat with ancestors. So then if I'm able to touch ancestors, it's no different than touching a human, right? But you have to be able to clear yourself out to where you're ready for that experience. And if you're able to do that, then, like I said, there is no barrier between touching deceased or the now. So, but because we were taught for so long to grieve, then that in itself lowers our frequency. So then, if we lower our frequency in some extent, then we're not able to see what's actually being done. For example, whenever you think like you've probably ancestors probably been lost for maybe 2 years, but then all of a sudden you get a thought, right? And then you begin to probably get sad a little bit. So then you lose the opportunity to actually heighten to that vibration of your ancestor and actually see him because you're so lost within possibly yourself. And that moment is also added on to possibly the other moments that have been um, brought to you from other ancestors, became said, or maybe other work situations that has been brought to you that probably brought down your line of thinking and your vibration. And because of that, it almost prevents you from actually truly, once again, tapping into your dynamics of learning and also your true power.
Well,
So that's what, I heard you the other day always saying positive thinking, positive thinking. I want to add something to that as well. I want you to add knowing. Once you know everything, once you understand just the rhythm of the truth of who you are, the rhythm and the truth of the frequencies that are going on, then it's almost silly to think less of yourself. It's almost silly to think that you're not going to make it. And then once you realize that it's silly, then you turn that to laughter.
yeah,
Then once you turn that to laughter, then that turns into joy, right? So then there's another level of beyond joy and happiness. Beyond joy and happiness is knowing. Once you get to knowing, that's whenever you start to really move the frequencies and understanding the future, what you can create by being that frequency. And you can first explore them once I said through your dream state of understanding, walking through it, and then even working with the frequencies while you're awake by seeing it in your third eye, by walking through everything that it needs to go on, by feeling that vibration, and then just walk through it in real life. And the trouble that a person may have will be that it will come across someone else that's going to try to convince you something differently, right? They're going to try to convince you possibly that their idea is better. But once you realize that, oh, that's their reality and they're okay to have that, then you also find that funny as well. And then that process starts over. Laughter, knowing, mastering, and then you will reap the benefits of knowing and understanding. And then you'll start get to a level where your ancestors really start showing themselves to you because you're now on that frequency of knowing, and then you will not be afraid whenever they pop up on you, whenever you're in your possible restful state or walk through your wall and scare you, that then will make you change your frequency either. So there's tons of different ways to achieve knowing, but it's a maintenance. You have to maintain it and then continue to grow.
I like that. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Well, and I wrote down those words just so I had them later. And I'm unable to post what you sent me. I have no idea why. I was trying to post it as a picture. Um, However, I'm typing it into the chat, so at least we have it there.
Okay.
Um, I'm thinking maybe I should be doing it. Yeah, I'll do it on the captions while you're talking
No,
about.
also, I see everybody saying hello, so I want to say hello to everyone. I don't want to be rude or anything like that. I see you guys popping out, so hello, everyone, and good meeting everyone as well. And thank you for having me on your guys' show today. So appreciate it. Thanks.
And um, I'm I know you've been on usually quietly in the background. Victor's from Sweden.
Okay.
KK is from Oregon. Harley is Massachusetts. I have to
Hmm.
remember all these people. Brenda, who was on, who's let me go back to the chat. She's from the Houston area,
Okay.
and Katie, are you in Missouri? Or I can't. There's someone in Missouri and someone in like North Carolina, and keep getting those two mixed up. So I have to ask and make sure. Okay, who else we got? Oh, and Pam Shore. Are you still in Wisconsin? And Pam has been here for our Monday night uh, class as well. Okay.
Excellent.
I just
I
want
love
to let you know where they're coming from so you kind of get an idea where all this energy is.
excellent. Yeah, excellent. Thank you. Yeah. So I was also thinking about, you guys said something about telepathy.
Yes.
I think it was yesterday, right?
Yep.
See, I'll be keeping up with you, Julie. I'll be keeping up with you.
I appreciate that.
You
And I
know?
don't realize it half the time, but I do appreciate it.
Yeah. No,
And thank you.
I see you popping in, and I also see you sharing and everything. And I just want to make sure that you know that I also keep up with you and try to best as I can to show support and everything as well too. So I appreciate you for sharing the videos and just continue doing what you have been doing. But like I said, I think whenever I was sitting back and just really feeling the top discussion about today, I think it honestly kind of goes into telepathy and the version that I was brought of what telepathy is. You know, with telepathy, we got to think about that's ingrained in almost everything. That's ingrained in our healing process, our communications with everyone else, and also our happy moments and our tragedies, right? So, Julie, ask me how does this have to do with our strategies and all these other different aspects, right? What?
Okay. And it, how do I want to say this? I know I could just ask that question, but I know everything ties in together.
Mhm.
We know that. I mean, you were talking about universe earlier, about the mystic. I'm just going to say it, but I'm going to type it in too. What is a mystic? Mystics see the divine intervention behind the impulse. And to me, utilizing telepathy is not just an impulse because of this natural understanding of the universe and everything. Mystics feel a need to serve others in order to help guide them through obstacles and critical life decisions. Again, when I think of telepathy, it, the mystic just seems to fit so much into that and can utilize the telepathy in a very positive, strengthening, healing manner. So how does telepathy and the lack of it right now, how can we change that for one, and how can we tie that into anything and everything we do?
Well, we first have to realize we never had a lack of it. We had a lack of understanding, right? And when you have a lack of understanding, we can be taken advantage of and misuse it, right?
Yes.
So let's think about whenever we're nervous. When a person is nervous, right? What is happening? You're thinking of something, and because you can't necessarily put words to it, you say that you're nervous,
Yeah.
right? There's something coming, I'm unaware of it, so I'm nervous. So already you're feeling something and you don't know what it is. So then once you're able to feel that possible, and this is why I call it universal language, once you're able to feel that imprint of that situation, your mind may not understand what it is because you may not have a word for it yet, right? Or you have not been trained to put a word to it yet. So then because your mind cannot understand it, it's just like, oh man, what is going on? So then you get nervous until guess what? You go into the situation. And then you go into a situation, you're still holding that frequency of nervousness. So maybe when you're taking that nervousness into the situation outcome may not be exactly what you desire it to be because you took that frequency of nervousness into a unknown obstacle that the outcome was always up to you, right?
Right.
So how come we do not know about these things? It's because when we are in school, we are also taught facts that are not necessarily facts. They're just an idea of someone else trying to say something or someone else's observation, right? So then we train our mind to see those things along those manner. Now, what was the thing I said? If the eyes can't see, what the mind don't know,
Right.
right? But then people taught you, hey, this is what you should know. So then this whole time we've been creating reality off of what another human being has taught us about reality. And then if we go back through history, these are not just always loving human beings, these are conquerors, right?
Yeah.
So most of the time in our country, we are programmed by conquerors. So then you got to ask, how come sometimes our reality now is the way that it is? And honestly, it's only because of the reflection of the way that we've been thinking. Now, to get back to telepathy, right?
Right.
Now, telepathy, in a sense, you have to ask yourself, if we were taught how to uh, see reality based upon frequency, based upon energy, because telepathy is an expression of another person. For example, um, I don't need to know the names of necessarily the beings that come and chat with me. Why do you think that, Julie?
You don't need to know the names. You just, to me, you need to trust and believe. If we
Well,
resonate with you, and if it doesn't matter who they are because we're all one.
mhm. Now there's also different. There was words in there I want to touch up on.
Okay.
There's believe, and then there's one that I told you about of knowing.
Yeah.
If you if and how do you get to know something? It's observation and constant practice of understanding the the steps of energy, meaning there's a circumstance, something happened, this was the outcome. Oh, so then you're able to come with accuracy with the frequency of those circumstances and the people involved, right?
Right.
So then you start to be able to understand how the flow of reality starts to work. So then we go back to telepathy from the very beginning. If we become so familiar with these things, you're able to then come across a person and feel their core, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're able to feel how their thought process shift. So then you have to go back and be able to start with, you understand intent, the intent of a person, right? So if I was trying to sell you something, what do you think you would feel?
If you're trying to sell me something, either I feel, well,
Well, think
I,
about in the past when someone tried to sell you something, right?
right. It's like, is this something I want or something I don't want? And is this person wasting my time, or is it something beneficial? I mean, all those thoughts go through.
So so now we're going to be able to break down this scenario, okay?
Okay.
All right. So now we can say that that's possibly projecting.
Yes.
Now, because
Right.
since you're projecting, you're already creating the frequency of the scenario. Okay. So then the other person is also projecting the frequency of the scenario. So now, if you're already kind of worried about this person and this person is already worried about themselves, then the situation could go down a worry scenario, right?
Yeah.
Imagine, imagine you come across someone that honestly says, "Hey, hey, if you're hurting, I have the energy to assist you." Point blank, period.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
So then, if you can feel that person and say, "Well, what does this person really want?" Right? Then what just happened? Projection. Or
Yeah.
you can say, "Okay, how?" With maintaining a clear mind. So then, by maintaining a clear mind, you'll be more open to the person's true intent with every word by seeing if he will shift from that moment of saying, "Hey, I can help you." And then you also got to look at your scenario, where you're at, what's the energy we're in. For example, uh, when we're at the fairs and everything, right?
Right.
And just from being at the fairs, and here's here's the funny thing of being at the fairs, you have people, and it's just natural that sometimes the people that come to help people are worried about sales.
Right.
They're wondering if they're going to either waste their time, or because they put an investment in these fairs, right?
Yes.
And then they are concerned about, is it going to be busy? So before of all this, before anyone came into the scenario, if a person is highly evolved, they can already feel this from a person that's supposed to help them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then what happens? You go along, and then you could actually, because of feeling like that, you could block someone off because you're unaware of what you're projecting out, right? But if
Right.
you go into a situation truly open minded and open hearted, then you know truly what you are going to get. And here's the thing: if you go in there open minded, open hearted, then you don't have concerns on if you're necessarily going to be successful in society or not, because you're doing exactly what you want to do because out of your joy, right?
Right.
So I want to take this, I know it's probably a little bit of a lot. I want to take this idea, what I just presented, and add it to not just a fair, but to life, right? We can sit here and say that I'm concerned about how I'm going to get these bills, how am I going to do this, how am I going to get that, right? And then that's projecting out into the universe. That's what you're telling people, even though you're not saying it out loud, you're feeling it. So you're using telepathy to manifest and tell everything that you don't want, and it's exactly what you're going to get, because that's how powerful we are, right?
Right.
But to understand the frequency and of knowing yourself, knowing, it can't be believing.
Right. Knowing.
No,
Got it.
you have to really do the research within yourself, understand how you're created. You have to do the research within the scenarios you're going into, because you don't want someone to take your paintbrush and paint a picture you don't want, right? You want to be able to be masterful. And how that happens is those tough times help you become an expert at drawing those small lines that you need to get through to get to the bigger picture, right? So we really have to be aware of, who am I at the core, period. And that is telepathy, because you're always talking to yourself, even though you don't think that no one else can hear it. Now, you take away language, right?
Right.
And then we just have what?
Thoughts.
That's it.
Well, yeah.
It's if you don't have language, you probably have pictures. You probably have, oh, you're like, you can't even say I. You probably just see yourself walking into the scenario that you want to walk into, right? So now we take about the pictures now that would make people nervous. Think about that picture that they're creating whenever they are going into a situation. They're thinking and throwing out there loud to the universe. This is how this scenario is going to be, and this is making my body shake, making my body worry, right? But why? And it just comes down to, oh, you probably haven't figured out yet that you're creating this moment, and you probably
Right.
haven't accepted it. And then that also goes back to, because of what we were taught, that goes back to what we call hereditary trauma. I just call hereditary teaching, right?
Okay.
And so it is all those things that you picked up from your mother or your father that they necessarily probably didn't say, but they told you it through telepathy, and you felt it, and then you responded based upon the pictures that other people possibly was doing for you, instead of truly understanding that, hey, I just need to understand my parents, so then I can understand the the qualities that I would like to develop from them, but then also have the ability to develop the qualities I desire to achieve whatever I want to achieve going forward. Knowing that is different than believing.
Yes.
And then knowing that you truly have for yourself facts of things that you acquired over time and what you applied and what you didn't apply to achieve wherever you're at the time. And then once you become masterful over that telepathy within yourself, then you become masterful by developing telepathy within someone else, the world. And then this benefits relationships, this benefits business direction, this benefits places you want to live because there's frequencies in areas that sometimes there's tons of disasters there, right? Well, it's like the energy is off there. Why would I want to go towards where people have tons of disasters and everything else at, right? So then and once you become stronger, your antennas get wider, and then you're able to pick areas of different parts of the world where, oh, this energy is nice. I'm gonna chill here for a while, right? And then if things do get a little crazy or dangerous, you're able to then feel that before it actually happens and then move accordingly. And then you also have to know that whenever the time comes for you to move or act, that you will always be ready. The universe is always supplying you to match your frequency, to match your telepathy of what you're telling yourself, right? So we say manifestations is it's always yes, you have to be it, but it's like you also like at the core, it's like you don't ever want for anything, right? You always just be who you are, and then by being who you are will get you exactly what you need no matter where you go. But to want for something, then that is going to kind of put you steps backwards because you're going to carry, oh, I need this without knowing, oh, I'm already great from where I'm at. And to say that I need something, it just means that this is hilarious. It's like it's like asking your universe, "Hey, I need a new house." So you're at basically asking the universe, "Hey, can you give me a dick carcass?"
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So the language of the universe is different than even humans because the universe in itself has everything grow, but humans in ourselves, we ask for things after we destroyed it. You see what I mean?
Yes.
So
And
we really have to be precise on what we necessarily are asking for when we talk about manifesting. So yeah.
yeah. Well, and it makes a whole lot of sense
Hmm.
what you're saying. And we are so programmed. I mean, even in the uh, the affirmations, I believe in infinite abundance. It's like I embrace infinite abundance
Well,
instead of I believe in it.
yeah. The thing that I always ask is, it's like, what makes people ask for? What makes people want to say affirmations?
One, it raises frequencies, and when I say them, my life has changed. So, I mean, it's changed positive. To me, it's just like any other words. It's a spell.
Mhm.
Um, and what are you going to do with it? And I utilize them every day and makes things happen. Whether it's my innate ability to make it change just by the thought, I don't know.
Well, I think sometimes, depending on the person, first of all, affirmations, I think, are kind of like they can also say they can be a reflection of self as well.
Mhm.
Affirmations, and you could see something what you achieved and be like, oh yeah, I'm truly blessed in that sense, right?
Mhm.
So, but what about the people that they don't feel that they're blessed, right? So that's why I asked, well, what made a person say the affirmation in the first place? And for me personally, I think that there's things that unconsciously possibly lowers a person's line of thought, right? So then they're going to go down a direction that maybe they were unaware of. And then I think that's whenever, in order to, get themselves pumped up, they do start saying affirmations and everything along that line. And I think, but what I'm saying is there's also a quality of being a. I always think about um, dealing with other beings from other planets, right?
Hmm.
So when we communicate with them, and let's say they're far advanced and everything, and let's say this is a certain means that we can, like, if you're anything that you think, if you're able to see energy, you'll see it appear instantly. So the question is, it's like when we come in contact with those beings and everything, and they asked, well, what took you so long to evolve if you have all the qualities we have? I wonder, like, what what is it that we're doing now that is preventing us to go and assist or be engaged with the other planets? And from frequency wise, it, it it goes back to the communication we have with ourselves, because everyone can feel it, and then also because we are not aware of that, people are being taken advantage of and being possibly tricked into going in the wrong direction of where we could be. And then by doing that, we have to ask ourselves, is our teaching techniques as healers, is that is that where we left off, is that where we want our children to be? Or should we just say, oh, this is what I was taught, this is what got me here so far, and this is the reflection of where we're at right now, right? So
Right.
then we have to look at, as healers, the things that we've been doing and saying, that um, how can we progress and become better?
Yes.
Because ever since I was younger, from what I've seen and observed, it's like, and I want everybody to understand, I'm just an observer. I'm an observer. So don't be offended by what I'm about to say next. I've I've been in the metaphysical field since a very young age, 6 years old, and everywhere I go, everyone's doing the same thing. Everyone, and by doing the same thing means that I also see people grow, and then still talking and doing the same thing over and over again. But I haven't really seen necessarily anything beyond that. The only time I started seeing things that was beyond is whenever I really started letting go all the tools. So whenever I'm speaking about something, I don't it's it's like a firsthand experience observation that I'm just sharing, and never saying anything works or it doesn't work. I'm saying from observation, from uh, possibly from whoever. Did someone teach you how to read tarot cards or anything along those lines?
No one really taught me. I mean, I've heard about them and all, and I just kind of learned it on my own, plus whatever I've
Mm-hmm.
been taught. But yeah, I don't read them as the tarot cards. I read the image.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I
And
I stick mainly to what I know, because
mm-hmm.
what comes in my head, it's a knowing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been working on that, and that's what I want to master. So when you were talking about knowing, it's like, yes, I know I'm on the right track
Mm-hmm.
when
Mm-hmm.
I utilize my knowing.
Right. And like I said, the idea, once again, as affirmations, it's the same thing as tarot card. Oh, I'm gonna use this as affirmation, saying, oh, this is what this card means to me, right?
Right.
So so in a space and time, whenever we use these tools and everything, like I said, it's like having a middleman. We're slowing down the progress of everything, and then we're teaching that same thing because whenever, you know, I come from, part of my background is working in school systems, and working in school systems, you're in the inner city school systems, so it's just like you're dealing with situations when they happen. I also have background in like policing as well. These are things that I got into to understand, hey, what are people thinking, what are they doing? And in those instances, you're you're put in front of a scenario where you have to feel a solution for people, right? You have to feel and understand what you're going to do, right? And this is how I start my training. It's like I want you to be in a situation that you're going to be involved with in life. And when you're in life, you're not going to have the time to necessarily pull anything out, right?
Right.
But if you are able to maintain a frequency in everything that you do, then you're able, like it's when the other person says, you're able to shift timelines in that moment. So if that car is coming at you, you're able to shift timelines to get out of the way just because of your frequency. But if if a car is coming at you and you ideally said, hold on, let me say an affirmation, and this is just an example, or hey,
Right.
let me
I understand.
look at my timeline, and then you become afraid, or you're afraid in that moment or whatever, then you're more likely going to have that lesson brought to you. You see what I mean?
Yes.
so
Something
so
happened on Sunday that, yes, I understand that completely.
so this is the thing about telepathy is whenever we come in contact with other beings, they've already mastered this for generations, right? So then whenever we present ourselves to them or want to communicate to them, you know, this is the true language. We got to be able to match this vibrant frequency. But if we are hit by that immense energy, our bodies in itself has not been trained to fully function. You see? So because of just the magnitude of their energy being able to flow, because possibly they never had restrictions put on them. You see, so from doing that, we got to ask ourselves, how can we get there? Because everything that we've been taken a part of, we've been seeing for decades, and the same outcome has been there. You know, it's yes, it's always love and light, but it's also um, that's not love and light. Sometimes it's not necessarily going to win a battle, right?
Right.
Understanding the situation is going to win the battle. Understanding, oh, this person is trying to send me this energy, right? What is he truly saying? Oh, this person's mad at me. Cool. I send them back love and light. No, that's not necessarily going to solve the problem, because if we just send them back love and light, it's basically saying that, oh, I don't understand you, but I want you to take this, instead of asking these questions. And it's like being brave enough to ask the question, why is this person at this moment feeling his core like this, and how did it happen, right?
Yes. Exactly.
So I'm not necessarily giving you any love or light just by asking a simple question. I'm just being myself, that I didn't feel almost like you needed love and light.
Right.
You know, whenever I do healings, I don't feel a person needs a healing. I feel like, okay, well, I can, because it's in my core, it's easy for me to show someone how to heal themselves,
Yes.
and being able to do it by changing possibly their life that led up to now that they're in pain, and then showing different options of how they can enjoy life to where by default that energy will flow through them at an immense rate. And then by doing that, the only problem you probably have is that you're ready to go jump on mountains and swing from trees, make love all night, stuff around those type of things, right?
Right.
So then the conversation is totally different now. There's really, and what let me remind you when I say this, and this is only from observations, there would be no need for our healers anymore, and there would be no need for necessarily businesses trying to take your money or anything along that line, because you will have so much energy that you will want to do and have the greatest life and have the energy to do it in, right? Because you're changing the way that you think, you're changing your routine. It's almost like if people are complaining about money, then you have to look at the way that you live and the way that you're using money, right?
Right.
And then that goes back to, uh, for example, why did a person buy such a big house? So then, you then have to pay for that, right? So then that brought more problems in that sense, right? So an example for me, with working in shops and everything else, I made it to where it's just like, nah, if I work in a shop, I'm not necessarily going to pay anything in that sense, because I'm just there to having a great time. And anything that I'm doing, I can um, do outside of what I'm doing now, right? And by doing that and switching that role was to where it's just like, for me, I don't honestly, I don't have to pay a lot of bills at home or in the business or anything like that. And I'm utilizing our true home that's outside, and then utilizing, also teaching new ways to do that in different places, and then finding joy, and then really doing things that benefit the body by giving you tons of sunlight, by getting you by the water, by and this becomes a lifestyle. And then your body will reflect that, because now you're engulfing all this energy that is just like, why are we doing these ritual things whenever the only ritual things I should be doing is something that will benefit my body, my soul, and then also everyone around, that is productive instantly. So that's why I said it's like there's a real difference between um, the tools and just being and knowing. And once again, let me repeat, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the tools, but from observation and by playing it out and just by living, it's just like, okay, well, here's the next step. Let's let these things go.
Yeah. And and I hear and understand what you're saying, and it makes perfect sense. It is releasing the the programming, the conditioning, and the domestication,
Mhm.
or deconditioning, as
Well,
human design say. So,
well, and I think it's the same thing. We say that metaphysics is different than school, and it's not, because we're still using the same techniques, right? Or we're saying that it's different in church, and it's not. We just have our own language for it, and then we're applying it in the same format. The format in itself is the cause of the outcome. It's not necessarily what's being taught, it's the format in some sense. It's like, oh, you're teaching your mind how to learn in this manner. And if you're teaching your mind how to learn in this manner, then once again, you're going to be blind to all these other opportunities of growth, right?
right.
So, a mystic is also someone that kind of not afraid to say, go against the grain sometimes.
Okay.
you know.
And I've got it now.
Mhm.
So it is done. Hopefully I typed it right, because I was doing
Right.
listening and typing at the same time. So if I messed it up, just let me know. I will fix it. But this made a whole lot of sense when I typed it up a couple times, because I don't know what it was about how I received it, the format, but it wasn't allowing me to copy or anything. So, but if school is equivalent to learning, then everything in existence offers knowledge.
Well, yeah, but there's also, I agree with that statement, but there's also certain knowledge opens up different doors. So, So it's kind of like, let's say, if you were taught in a manner that saw you to see only flowers. So then how the mind is developed, then you will only see the flowers. But then for a person that was taught to see how dragons hide in flowers, then you'll be able to locate the dragon a lot quicker than the person that was only trained to see flowers.
Right.
So what the thing that I'm stating is from experience, and it's from um, observation of, well, from a very young age, how come these beings were more likely to come to me instead of one of my brothers and sisters, you know? And their response was very simply, it was that um, you wouldn't be afraid to, you would not be afraid to truly present information regardless of the numbers against you. And I think that's where we come to. And I think through history, that's something that we've been having a problem with as well. And, just like with every group that you're in, I mean, the major thing when you get into a group, you speak about similarities in a clan, or like uh, people of your nature. Right? And then, but from my experience, because I've been able to jump in several different groups, see several different mindsets, and engulf the knowledge. It's just like we are all of the same culture. We're just arguing about who's right or who's wrong, and as you said, if knowledge comes through everything in some extent, then why are we why are we continuing fighting with each other instead of just continue pushing past what we know? So then our children will be able to uh, not start and finish where we started and finished. And just from observations, that's where we're at right now, and from the reflection of everything that's going on, it's just a reflection of what we've been taught. The interesting thing is, once again, now they're trying to be honest about other cultures living in different areas, or being honest about our histories and all those different things, right? And it comes down to, all right, are we going to be able to make that leap? Are we going to be able to let go of what we thought was something and then move forward to learn more of something? So, and is the idea is not even necessarily to feel will to go with our mind. It's to start with understanding what we feel through energy. Then our mind will try to understand that. But it also goes down to, how is your mind programmed at the moment to understand what energy is going through you, right? Because if we sometimes there's things that are said that you can't relate with anything that exists. And if you can't relate with anything that exists, you don't know what to do with it, right? You try to go and do some of the things you've done in the past, but it's just like, even today in the science world, like it's like they may know how to move at the speed of light, but you don't know how to move at the speed of thought. And
Right.
what they're learning now, that there's other spacecrafts that we're coming encounter with, they know how to move at the speed of thought. We don't have math for that. We don't have physics for that, right?
Right.
So then, to go back to what I said, is that there's no tools that could ever be developed, no thoughts that ever could be written, even think about how to get on that level. Less you actually speak to those beings that are on that level to help, walk your way through it. So what I'm saying is, we cannot go into a situation with our cup half filled, not even half filled. We have to somewhat empty it all out. And because you empty it out doesn't mean that you're losing anything. It just means that I'm emptying out the tools to understand something, and then open up myself to be able to learn new tools, new opportunities for something. So that's the thing about, the knowledge of what we've already have. And once again, I'm not saying there it doesn't work or there's nothing wrong with it. I'm saying that on this new level, when we're talking about, everyone's talking about going through a new dimension, it's just like, stop doing what you think is getting you past this dimension. It's like, clear your heart, clear your mind, and that's the number one thing that you can carry in there, is learn how to do that, but also learn how to understand frequencies without any tools. Because once you get into this other place, it's just like, once again, if they're moving off, or we get to this other encounters with these other beings, if they're moving off the speed of thought, then we really got to get our mind processors up to date and letting go of the things that are somewhat slowing us down that got us to this point. And that's all I'm saying, and I encourage and and hopefully give excitement to people to explore that. Not even ask me, how do you do it, Montell? Don't ask me, how do you do it? But to explore it for yourself. Because what I've learned by exploring different techniques and energy frequencies by yourself, you become the master of how you shape your reality. And then you don't compare it with anyone, because it's your reality. You shouldn't have to, you shouldn't care, right? And then when you're able to do it, no one no one will necessarily understand your building blocks. So that means no one can necessarily tear you down. So, and then you become more elusive whenever a person doesn't agree, and then also become more insightful for people that do. So, that's all I'm saying, Julie. That's all I'm saying.
And Harley's been communicating back and forth. I hope you saw some of what she put on there. Uh, Don, welcome in. Lizzie, welcome in. And I think we've had a couple. Bonnie's come in. So we've had KK. These are people after you had um, said hello to them. So this was what she put up last. Yes, and when people can't relate, it causes discomfort, and some can't assimilate to the changes, and this can become reactionary.
Yeah, and would you like me to respond or
Yes.
just respond to that? And so that's why I said it's like, once you start to progress in your own manner, it's not necessarily, you can't set your mindset to worry about, hey, is this person going to really, right? Because then you're concerned about, am I going to be accepted or not, right? So then that almost closes the door for your own growth. And a part of that, of worrying about that, is past teachings. So what happens is, whenever you go forward, you're leading by example. Yeah, you can feel other people's thoughts in there, but you're leading example. And once you break through, and once they actually see you become that trailblazer, I mean, either they can follow and see where your happiness lies, see the things you're discovered, or they can stay where they're at. And that's the gift of free will. That's the gift to do that. And there's nothing wrong necessarily of that. But I'm not on here talking about that today. I'm
Right.
talking about I'm talking about, hey, there's new levels that we can go to, and to get there, sometimes you have to forget everything that you know, and then learn more. Like I said, you can't learn something if your cup is half full. There's new teachings, new techniques, and then the healing becomes easier. The reality becomes faster. The joy becomes enhanced, because you're becoming a true master of yourself, and the things that you once heard about that you thought was holding you back doesn't exist, because you grew out of that mental control. And then, like you said, that reactionary to think that, oh, if this person says this, then I'm going to respond in this manner. And then that changes your core, that changes your growth. And then, as I said before, once you get to a level where you can vibrate, and then, let's say, the beings that are on the speed of thought, because imagine, ima- imagine driving a spaceship, and your spaceship is designed off of your thought. And then you're driving, you got all these people on here, And then you think to yourself, oh, how am I going to make it past this rock? Oh, I'm going to crash. What do you think your spaceship is going to do? It's going to crash because it's listening to your thoughts, right?
Right.
So, in order to truly function these materials or these objects, you have to have an unrattling knowing of what you can do. And it's done because you've already done it so many times. You've seen it so many times. There was nothing in society that ever made you think less of it, right? So, in order to get there, we have to accept our uniqueness of ourselves, never compare. So, I think that's the, I think that was the very, 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 very immense message that uh, was really supposed to be sent today. It's like, how can we truly surpass anything that we have ever seen before? Hey, take care, Lizzie.
Yeah. Thanks for
So,
saying. Yeah.
so that's where it's just like the same thing with, you know, right now in our world, we having that type of a practice, basically saying that what I see now is that nothing in our world has changed. You're just seeing more of the world on TV. You're seeing more perspectives of the
Mm.
world on TV that always existed, always existed.
Right.
Now, is this brought to your attention? Now, since it's brought to your attention, now what are you going to do? Are you going to adapt to energy that's possibly been brought to you, or are you going to surpass it, continue going?
Right.
And that's the question, that each individual is being asked every moment. You
Yes.
know, is this something you're going to surpass, or is it something that you're going to lie in? Now, difference is how. The difference is how now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, what's this question?
Huh?
I saw this question pop up. What's this about?
LOL. I just saw these learnings as double wedding veil that trails a bride down the aisle and covers her face until she reaches her destination and she lets it go. She now can join the festive reception. Okay, that's what she saw, I guess. So I'm not sure if she was meaning it for Lizzie or what. Um, but I kind of get a little bit of it to let go, and now she can enjoy the festivities,
Mm,
to be in the here and now and observing, and but not hold it, not allowing yourself to be held back.
yeah.
Well, I don't think you allow yourself to be held back. I think you get yourself stuck for whatever reason you choose.
Well, and I think for me, every moment that we call stuck is a moment to realize where we're at. And once again, it's like we think that we're stuck because possibly we're trying to compare with someone else
Yeah.
growth levels. Whenever we don't have enough information to even do that, because we're just assuming that another person has a smoother life than we do, right? So So the thought process, our own thought process in ourselves of how we talk to ourselves is the thing that slows us down. Right. So the bottom line is we don't know. We don't know exactly what Julie is going through. We don't know what Montell is going through,
No.
right?
Yeah.
But what are they saying? And it's the same thing when when I come in contact with other beings. It's just like, what do they feel like? And what are they truly saying? And then how exactly is this a part of what I'm going through? How can that assist me or not? But the thing of it is, you can't compare of how it assists them because they got on totally different boots.
Yes.
Right? Feel totally different, and it's more of how can I utilize my gifts? Not even I can't even call them gifts anymore. How can I utilize my born abilities
Yes.
to to experience this life that I came into experience. Now, from past histories, we went with what other people wanted us to go with, belief systems. But at this moment, I'm asking everybody to drop it, learn new techniques,
Mhm.
push yourself beyond your comfortabilities, and figure out how can you bring the most joy to the life just by being yourselves. And that can be as simple as having a strawberry yogurt in 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 the middle of the mall while singing "Good Morning America." You know, so whatever that is for you, try to do that more and more, and stop asking permission
Right.
to be you. You know, and asking permission means, oh, am I doing this right? Am I doing that right? It's like you got to understand that everything that you do, you're writing in the universe's book of of life. Hey, this is the adventure of Julie and how she lives life, and this is what she did, and this is everything that she came across. Oh, Julie forgot that she was living life again. She decided to go down this path. She started to create the illusion that it's not a good day for her, did without her knowing that she created this day outcome, you know. And then it comes down to, oh, you know, Judy came across this other experience, made her happy again, and then she really started to trust herself again, and then she started to go in that vibration of creation. So yeah, and the whole the whole spiel that I'm doing today, Julie, is this: remember who you are. Remember that telepathy is everyone's strongest ability. Remember that you were meant to explore in all different ways. There's never ever a wrong moment, but a moment realize, hey, what was the teaching in this moment?
Exactly.
And then uh, and then if you felt a certain way about it, then you start doing discoveries upon yourself. It's like, oh yeah, I was taught to see this in this manner, and then it made me to have a reaction to this in this manner. Oh, people calls that trauma. Oh, now I have trauma. So you see how this
Yeah.
downhill of previous teaching teaches us, and then oh, I got to do this and this and that, and literally you doing that is once again just living life to some extent. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with it, but just know there is a faster pace that one you won't get bothered, and one you won't have to go, in a trajectory like this. It's one of those things that you can constantly go up in your trajectory if you understand and your own principles, you understand your own abilities, you understand your own telepathy, you understand how gifted you truly are. And then you eliminate doubt, the teaching of doubt. Then you eliminate the teaching of fear. Then you eliminate the teaching of grief. You eliminate the teaching that there's death, because your experience will get you out of those belief systems and get you into what is waiting for you. And that has always been there. And like I said, I'm able to say this because I've went through it. I've explored it. So it's there. And even though the title is mystic, it's no different than anyone else. You know, it's just more of a show that in our society for people to understand that there is more. And it's a permission slip for people to ask, what does mystic mean? It's a permission slip for people to say, hey, maybe I'm a mystic because I had these experiences as well. The whole idea of hero is just a formula to help you also get through. It's just like, yo, at all times, I honor myself by loving everything I come across. I embrace everything that comes to me. I reflect over it and I overcome it. That's what hero is about, right? Honor, embrace,
Yes.
and overcome. So that in itself is just like I don't use anything else besides my own thought process, and I understand where it goes and how I can direct it. And by doing that, that's whenever you unleash you become real strong at healing, because you're focusing your energy in the way that you want it to go, and you know that is going to help. You know that your reality is going to be beneficial for you at all times. You know that if it is time for you to exit out of this flesh, you know what comes next because you've already had so many encounters with people or beings that are out of the flesh. So,
Mm.
with knowing where people, where is there any room for anything else? And knowing doesn't mean I know it all.
Right.
It means that I know that I'm gonna learn something else.
You never stop learning.
You never
But,
stop learning.
but it's like you said, the shed the old learned
Mm-hmm.
behavior, thought process, all that, and start anew. It's almost like starting a whole new language. I won't get into the religion part because to me, it's just religion is just a
Well,
collective thought process, and it is not written in stone, but somebody's in charge of it, and you need to be in charge of yourself.
but speaking of
Or
that, there
yeah,
was there was a story
okay,
in there that always stood out. It was when you call him Joshua, Jesus, just the experience.
right,
You know, whenever he asked, I think it was Peter, don't give me what names, was to walk on water,
right,
right? And then he said, if you understand what I understand, then you can be able to walk on water, you
right.
know. And then obviously, I guess he didn't understand that he fell in, and I guess people around him didn't understand either because then they decided to put him on a cross. But that's a whole nother.
Yeah,
You see what I
that's
mean?
another story. Yeah, it's, and I
So
mean, yeah, but to start anew. I mean, we hear this new earth and new way of life and all that, and like you were talking about the fifth dimension, the sixth dimension, and now we're ascending and all that, and it makes a lot more sense because I think the guy's name is Trevor Hall. He has a lot of songs, but one that I really love is "I Have Everything I Need from the Mountain to the Sea," and it's repeating. So you have everything you need.
mhm.
You just have to know and well, what knowing it. And you put knowing, laughing, and mastering.
Boeing.
Because when you know, you kind of laugh about it. And I'm laughing at my past selves because it's like, yeah, I realize that a lot of my created just to survive,
Hmm.
but I'm not surviving anymore. I'm
Hmm.
thriving.
You're thriving. Yeah.
And that's a step in the right direction.
Well, we see. When things hit me, I got to touch upon it.
Yeah.
Always know that you was never surviving. You just questioned the way you were living
Yeah.
because like who can really say the transition? I think that's something that what people really need to say. It's like if people don't think they're thriving, then they think they're just surviving. Then that just means that you believe that you were supposed to be something else. You're supposed to have something else. But we also got to look at like, I refer this to art, right? We go, let's say a mansion, right? We say a beautiful mansion is art. But once again, to the universe, you just destroyed a living organism and piled its carcasses.
Yeah.
So, we want to think success is is killing something else and then gathering its carcass and live on it. Compared to the fact that we're here is because we're a mixture of the stars, we're a mixture of everything. But when you got here, we started to go against what the people that was the closest to the earth was teaching us about. And then what happened? They got conquered,
Hmm.
they got killed, they got their history rewritten and called savages.
Yep.
So then we believed in the conqueror's mentality. And
Yeah.
then we and then what just from history we know that these conquerors also are the ones that somewhat brought diseases and everything else to all these other people, right? So the thing that I'm even necessarily saying is not anything on the side. I just think that we don't know our history,
Right.
because even when they're doing research, they're finding super high tech equipment that goes beyond our understanding now.
Yes. Yes.
It's we've been downgraded because of a low vibration that wants to kill and was taught their methods. But because people are, this is all they know, we think that it's normal. And then we're creating ideas that are stemmed from this low vibration and not necessarily know what's beyond this normal, right?
Right.
So then, once again, it goes back to the truth is in your DNA that can't be taken away. So if you're understanding telepathy and follow it, follow the understanding and looking at things for what it is, you will be able to hit where you came from, and we will be able to get back to where we've been and then go beyond, right? But if we don't, we're just going to continue repeating the same things. And and I encourage people to really do the research on uh, the way that people think,
Okay.
and and I encourage healers to, when you're assisting someone, spend time with the person and not just let them come across your table consistently. Spend time with them out in real life if you really want to help them. Spend time with them in in their everyday life, because then you can actually see how they really think. But you can't necessarily call yourself a healer if you're just going to move their their energy for a moment of time.
Okay.
That's just a band-aid. you know
Yeah.
it's a band-aid. It's like, to really do the work, change your classes, change the amount of time, change um, possibly how much you charge to people because you're adding more stress onto their lives.
Right.
Change your own way, and watch how you also grow into the infinite, and see how it works with you, and be surprised by what you can learn that will happen out of completely nowhere. And being able to do that, that will make a change in our society. And you don't have to worry about voting or anything like that. Trust me, this enlightenment is contagious. So
Yes.
this that's how we vibrate more. And then be surprised when uh, you come across someone just out of synchronicity, and then you find yourself dancing, and then excited about the new you found. Like, that's what should shake everybody's boots right there. It's like, you don't know who you're going to be tomorrow.
Right.
That's crazy to think about. You don't know what you're going to wake up. You won't know where you're going to be in your dreams, because you start to become more alive in the non-physical. And then you're able to bring knowledge, excitement, joy back, that vibration back with you in this reality. And then you're going to share with everybody else. And then it's a walk of love. And that's what uh, my experience as a mystic has been, a walk of love, to be honored by other people's ancestors, to at one time come and wake me up in the middle of the night and say, hey, you're gonna come across this pretty soon. So
Oh
you know
wow. Yeah.
it's not, there is no boundaries. And I wouldn't want to, people like, hey, come see me in the morning. No, like, let's live, let's have a great time. Let's show me what you would do in spirit world that we think that we can't do here. And then, all right, I got you, this is how I can create it. Let's start a move. But also, you know they also say, hey, Montell, you got to have these tough conversations. And some people will understand, some people won't.
Right.
But we, they like, we know that you're ready for it. We know that you can ask questions. And I saw something pop up on the screen. What was that?
Yeah, that was Harley. She was saying you should teach a philosophy course. This has been so wonderful for the mind. Applause to you for bringing such an amazing guest.
Harley, I thank you. Thank you. Tons of love. Tons of love.
And was it Sean's that you were watching? Um, my interview with Sean?
Sean is the older fellow.
No, Sean had a bandana. He was talking to
Oh, I
an
see.
Asian chick came in. The Black Dragon came in. Was it him or was it
I watched
Carrie?
3 of them.
Three of them. Okay.
So anytime you pop up, I always pop in and see what you're up to. You know. So it was but I do remember his, and he said he was a little exhausted. And what I find was interesting that um, I just forgot the other older gentleman's name that you had on. Um, he's a channeler as well. And he asked the question. And he was like, "Well, usually when I channel, it enhances me. Then why would this other person get
Right.
tired?" That's a relevant question. And he also asked, and I hear you guys saying it all the time: ask interesting questions. So you know, and there's one thing that I said, it's like, you know, sometimes people don't know what questions to ask.
Right.
So then once again, that comes back to also as the healer, it's just like you have to open up new opportunities for people to expand their questions, you
Yes.
know, and then also when we're answering people's questions, we got to give them more of the ingredients to the beef, you know,
And
because
that's one of the reasons why I started this one because they can ask the questions
mhm,
and a lot of the questions you're answering before they even pop up because we usually have a lot of stuff back and forth and I know they're listening because I see the numbers and all um, but they're just getting an idea of what you have to say and I love
right,
that because your observations and your experiences have are totally different than anyone else's and what you're bringing to the table today is very enlightening and yeah the honor embrace reflect and overcome I'm just embracing that as well because I wrote that down this morning it's right before you came in
mm,
to know that was the focus and I know that that's your last name right now but
yeah.
but I
And
mean it works.
yeah, and that once again, that's my philosophy.
Yes.
It's honor, embrace, reflect, overcome, and that in itself, it's a formula. And here's what I love about life. So, and this can be, I don't take no for an answer, right? So see these beautiful glasses I got on
I
today.
know. I love them.
These are the Ray-Ban displays. Just came out yesterday. I love technology. Okay,
Well,
so yeah, so I was told that, and I see it. I love technology. I love that just everything they can do. I love that they change. If I go outside, they change to dark glasses. I love that I can videotape and got some videos coming up soon that I'm gonna be using these. And like I wanted to get like it's going to be called In the Eyes of a Mystic. So my adventures and everything else. Whenever I'm making videos, I always make things that I'm actually doing, right? So then I can share the beauty of wherever I'm at. So I was actually going to go get these. A person told me that they don't sell them here, right? So then me and my team, we did some research. It's like, oh, they're going to be selling them in Gilbert because that's the thing, and that we had to go to the website and not necessarily knowing, but I just had visions with me on and everything. So like, nah, they got to be there. We're going to get them. So there's a couple things I had to do before I got there, and I got them perfectly on time to where they kept saying to the other customers, "Hey, I'm sorry I took too long. I'm sorry I took too long." And I'm sitting here thinking, I was like, I just got here, right? And then I got there. Then there was like a Latino man. He was putting on. he was trying to figure out the wristband of the size and everything, and he couldn't understand it, so I assisted him with it. And then after that, we got in the line, and he was like thinking everything else. And then he started moving weird, and then he said, "Oh yeah, I hurt my shoulder." And with hurting my shoulder and everything, like he even pulled out the tissue, like the picture of where the tissue and everything else is broken. And it was just like, all right, well, let me just see your shoulder, And then, uh, and this ain't like a feminine guy or anything. This is a tough guy, So he had no idea what I was going to do. So I just put my hand on his shoulder, and then I was just teaching him how to move his energy and everything else. And then just by teaching him how to move his energy, he started doing. He was started to able to move his shoulder a little more, and he by his expression and his statements, his pain started to reduce to some extent. So that to me is why when people ask me what I do, I just say I just live a life, right? Because by being your true authentic self at all times, you may have the ability to assist another person, but you may not know who it's going to be. But if you are not yourself, then you block off not only things that you love to do, but the opportunity to assist someone else and teach another person something more about themselves. So I think this is why I say don't hide yourself. Don't feel less about yourself. Like be yourself and wonder who you are beyond who you think you are. Know that everywhere you are, you don't have to be in a shop. You don't have to be uh, on a healing bed. You don't have to do any of that. Your vibration will get to a point that no matter where you're at, it's going to work. You're gonna your walk is supposed to vibrate high, and in doing so, you would teach other people how to vibrate high. You see, and I only went there to figure out how to get these wonderful glasses I got today. So it was one of those experiences that I say, for me to drive across town was an amazing drive. Uh, to just the whole experience to get there and know that someone told me that they didn't have them here in our um, state. It was just like you can feel like something's off, and then you have to act upon it. But if you don't act upon it, you can never have the research to be able to understand what the universe is trying to tell you through telepathy by saying something's off. Well, why is it off, right? And then the universe knowing me saying that he's not going to back down, he's going to be here. So this person that went to therapy that could not get help, that's been hurt, that is a good guy. We're going to place him here. So then he's going to be able to get this knowledge. And then, I mean, imagine what that's like to be in pain for so much and then to gather a new technique that releases your pain unexpectedly from a total stranger. And he had to be open for another man to put his hands on his shoulder while he's surrounded by all these other customers in Best Buy. So, so we really have to look at how magical our life really is. And like I said, it's just like, you know, I didn't need any tools. I just had my own hands and myself, and I had my determination, my heart, and also over time I developed the observation to see how these things work. So I said, okay, let's get it. But don't get me wrong, whenever I was in that moment, there is a moment that you will ask yourself, do I really want to get into this situation and do or not? Right. But then there's also a push. For me, there's like a push. And that's the universe saying, hey, get in there. And that's not the first time it happened. There's other time
Right.
at the barber shop where I decided not to say something, and then the energy started shaking my body and all this other stuff. I was like, hey, all right, I'll say it. And then and then like there was quiet. Everyone there, like a room full of people just coming to get their haircut. It was so quiet. And then it was like, oh, I understand. So then more understanding of whatever topic that was about was being able to be understood because once again, I followed my excitement. And I had some nudges. Don't get me wrong. In that situation, I had a big nudge, but that also, but in the past, that was just more of a reinforcement of saying, "Oh, no, this is the core. This is truly who I am." And if I act any other differently, my body is going to react in another way that I don't want it to react in. So those are my stories for today, guys. Two of many.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, how the world really works. And I know there's tons of other people that can give moments of what we call miracles, right? I can't say they're they're like miracles are like things that don't normally happen, but it's like when you vibrate, miracles happen every day.
Yes.
Yeah. Every day you doing what you love, the energy behind that, excuse me, the energy behind that, it's like a generator for for healthy activities, healthy activity. And then also the other side of that, it's just like, even when you sleep, when you're relaxation, because your energy is so high, your mind is so clear, you can also get truths brought to you, but you can also explore the what we call the dream world. And and through the dream world, it's like it shows you it shows you what happens with your thoughts instantly. So then it teaches you in dream world to keep your mind still. So then you can firsthand see how you can create moments in the storyline in your dreams. And then you take what that felt like, those messages and understanding, and apply it back to when you come back to this dimension and everything. And the fact that, we talk about it, and open with it. Like, I think, like, even what, KK was saying, she can feel this. And I think people need to really start talking more about their dreams to other people, more about what they learn. So then dream walking will become a more of an event than just thinking it's a time to rest, and then we start making activities like that an event. Like, see, I'm getting ideas just talking to you, Julie.
I
Getting
appreciate.
ideas just talking to you. So insightful and motivating. Just listening. So
Well, I appreciate you and all this information and your stories are great. Like like KK said, and Harley was saying that too. Your goal has been reached. We're seeing things from a different perspective and processing it. We can now walk forward and share. It's like a river on a rainy day. The river collects the water and carries down the stream, extending what has been collected. Yeah.
Harley's a poet.
Yes, she is.
Harley's she's out there.
Yeah. And I'm just loving it. I love the part about the glasses that you healed someone right there.
Hmm.
And I can understand the hesitation, but and the nudges. So
Well, yeah,
and
the interesting thing was, like, I also respect people's personal space and everything.
right.
So, all those thoughts are going through the head, and uh, and
Yes.
and with that, that's whenever I was just like, just ask, you know, just ask. And the interesting thing was, we didn't ask for each other's name. We didn't ask for each other's number. It was just like a meeting of, hey, good to see you again, brother. And even though I never seen him in physical form before, but it goes back to talk about our spiritual connections of of different beings are waiting for you to realize who you truly are. Like, I'm getting chills. I'm getting chills, Julie. Like,
I can't even imagine what it was like being there at that moment and being
wow.
around you because I know
Mm,
the others were feeling it, whether
mm,
they know what
mm,
it was about, but they
mm.
could feel the energy.
right, yeah, and it was extremely, and that's and it was extremely, it's fun. It was extremely, it's fun. Anytime that I do healings, I know you've seen at the fairs when I'm doing healing, and I have fun with whoever that I come across. We get up and we dance around the table, and or like in the beginning of the meetings, we're singing, and doing energy work through singing. So it's just like, this was meant to be fun, and it's up to the healers to make it fun, to help people understand that, getting to know yourself is just fun. So when you make healing fun, then you make life fun, and then you share that frequency of fun and laughter, and then take that into everything else that you're doing in life, and only truth will be shown through you. And then everything else, whenever people brings grief and everything, it's just like, you just have to, once again, in those moments, remind yourself, am I honoring myself by agreeing with this lower vibration? Am I embracing, the moment, embracing the moment, that if a person is bringing ideally negativity, that's their perspective of what their experience is. It doesn't even necessarily means it's negative. It just means that they think it's negative, and they have this more heavier feeling inside of them, right? So then, if you're aware enough to cipher through it and then see the joy within it, because you understand the message on a whole different level, share it, laugh about it, and then once they get it and resonate, it's like, holy moly, why was I creating that gloomy picture whenever it's really just sunshine, right? And
Yes.
also, I'm not on my computer. So so I think, for me, that's the real mission. It's to remind people of themselves. It's like, yo, you remember when you were going through and doing this, and you thought it was this, but you could have looked at it in this manner, and then you decided to scrape your foot on the ground and started to bleed, and then you decided to scrape your knee on the ground and started to bleed. Do you remember when you didn't have to do that? So uh, you laugh at those scrapes because those also made you stronger. But when they make you stronger, don't do the same things that made you scrape your knee or your ankle.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So it's it's and yeah, that call was answered, and I'm asking everyone else, hey, let's answer the call together.
Yep.
Let's answer the call together.
Good morning.
Yeah. Were there any other questions that you wanted to ask me? I'm sorry. I know I've been going on with
Oh,
you.
that's fine. I mean, we're flowing with you on your stories and all, and the call. It's
Mhm.
very important for all of us to start truly listening and not shutting our minds, our intuition down.
Right.
Because if we're not listening, who knows what we'll miss, or what the dominoes will be falling.
And
The dominoes will be falling.
and that's, I love that the dominoes will be falling, and understand sometimes the dominoes were meant to fall.
Yes.
That's why they were stacked up.
Yep.
It's like, you can't you can't cry over spilled milk whenever there's a drain there to soak it up and turn it into a whole nother elixir for you to turn into and drink later. You can't. It's like, I know someone said in your past things, it's like, you know, she said we're puppets. We're like puppets, and spirit guides are a puppet master and everything. And in some sense, we are the all of it. We're Our minds, we can say, are of the body, but we are masters. And sometimes the mind try to take over because it cannot see or understand the whole picture. But the thing of it is, we have to get to the understanding and knowing that our mind is not supposed to see the whole picture, but through telepathy. we're able to truly feel. For example, if I wouldn't be here right now, if I would, like, I started off in Indiana, right? And I was on the couch and I was sitting here saying, what is that? You know, and then had the vision of coming to Arizona, right? So by feeling that, and I move quick. So it's just like, all right, this is where we're going and everything. But in order to receive that vision and open that door, I had to accomplish things all the way up to that point, right? There was different circumstances that I had to walk through, had to feel, and then truly understand and master before I was able to open that door for that vision. Because if I would have came here, uh, I don't know, I can't say that, but I would have never came here, and I would not have been prepared for the other individuals that I came across if I would not have been who I was all the way up to the moment before I saw you and before we met. Like, I would not have been able to speak to you because I was not prepared to speak to you. You see what I mean? So
Yes.
we don't have, there's no reason at all to think that anything that we've been through is unnecessary. It's more, what is it truly telling us? And once again, are you understanding it? And what are you going to do with it? Because once again, when the universe speaks to you, it has no concern about the dead carcasses or the oil, the pollution you put in the air because of the beautiful car you have, or the animals' homes that you're taking that it made for them. It doesn't care about that.
Right.
It wants you to progress in the manner that you were made from, and then also get you to where you need to be. But sometimes the mind gets wrapped around conquerors' ideas.
Mhm.
But the idea of waking up is seeing the techniques that the conquerors have made, so you're able to then be who you are, and then live in this life, live in this on this planet in the manner that you design, without the recommendation of other people that want you to live in this planet the way that they want you to live in this planet. So that's the observation, truly, of the planet. Of, they ask where we're going. It's like, well, we're going to continue repeating the same thing if we use the same techniques, but
Right.
we have to become more.
And I know the older gentleman you're talking about, the Friday, which is with Scott, when you were talking about the older gentleman, because he specifically said interesting questions, and I kind of looked at him like,
Mhm.
okay, you ask what you need to ask, and KK, thank you for mentioning. She says, "Oh my God, I'm sitting down in the hay barn. That's where she does her journaling. And
Mhm.
my journal that's sitting next to me just opened to the entry when I wrote a reminder to myself to reach out to Julie to sign up for the Tuesday night class.
Mhm.
And the page ends with an entry of meeting a new guide at the time and whom called out to me again just this week. Chief Two Feathers. I love the spiritual life. So this is all that came to her. She
Mhm.
sits out by her 5 horses and does
Yeah,
her journaling there.
yeah. That's very interesting. I actually did a program with healing courses before. I, they have so much to teach. They also help you conquer your fear, just how you have to communicate with them. And I always talk with people of, like, pretty soon we're going to become in contact with giants, right? And uh, like energetic giants. So, and possibly giants as well. So it's just like, when if you are afraid, then how can you ever gather their wisdom?
Right.
Because you gotta understand, like, we may teach love and light, but another being on this level may just be like, hey, I don't have time for your emotional difficulties. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like they may look at that as disrespect because they didn't come from a possibly of a world of disrespect. So that's where we have to check ourselves and prepare ourselves for, hey, if these for beings that are straightforward,
Yep. Very
look,
direct.
this is what I'm saying. This is not what you think that I'm saying. This is what I'm saying, and and emotionally, to understand what they're saying, you have to be prepared because already here, when people are direct, because of the different ways that a person may think, we take it as if they're talking about us or against us because we were trained to say either you're on my side or you're not, and that's how it's used against you, right?
Right.
But when we're working with beings that are straightforward and they mean just exactly what they say, and they put that image in your head, they may not, they're not responsible to have the patience with us. You see what I mean? It's just like, no, you get it or you're not. I'm out. And
Yeah.
it doesn't mean they don't care because that's one of our emotions that we're taught. Oh, he must not care because this person's doing this, and that. No, that's just you thinking that you're not accepted, right?
Yeah.
It's just like if they give you a vision, you have to be able to decipher the vision and be able to say, "Oh, I get it," or I don't, right?
Right. Right.
Then take time to muster it up, and then watch how the universe shows you how to get it, and then you then act instead of being reactionary once again of you getting it and then you're having a fit because it was delivered to you in a certain manner. You see what I mean?
Yes.
And that's the same thing with healing, around the world. If a person is frustrated, it's just like you don't adapt his frustration and then, hey, calm down, get an attitude like that. You must respect me, you know.
No, you don't. You just
Yeah.
be you. Yeah.
Right. So then and by being you, by default calms them down because then they have to ask themselves, why am I the only one yelling in this situation?
Exactly.
Yeah. And then if instead of throwing up fences, you give them just who you are so they can feel you are, and then they be like, oh, he's not judging me. Oh, he's not doing possibly what I was doing to him or what I was done to in the past.
Yeah.
Oh, so now I can have this conversation or not, then huh, you know so we have to be aware of what we tell in ourselves because of what was programmed. Telepathy, once again, telepathy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's the real wonderful thing.
And I really appreciate you not breaking it down, but expanding telepathy because it's not just a one on one situation,
Mhm.
it's whatever is needed at the time.
Hmm. Yeah, it's whatever needed at the time, but it's good for you to once again have a clear mind, clear heart,
Yeah.
because you don't want your own um, beliefs getting in the way.
Right.
And in doing it, once again, that's extremely beneficial to practice because you're it's part of like you're already doing it. You're everything that you do, even when you're driving along and you're thinking within yourself, it's telepathy because you're gathering an expression of emotions of some extent. You're just putting words to it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like road rage. Person sees a light or someone crosses them off. Oh, he disrespected me. He crossed me off. He have all these emotions based upon their belief system, and then it makes them yell out the window, and then possibly you can share with other people, or you can get in a wreck, or you can just drop it, or you can have a heart attack. There's so many options that comes from bringing that type of energy into you. So by understanding telepathy to minimize the unexpected creation, you're able to be like, nah, I'm good. You go here, pal. See what I mean? So it's
Right.
like always keep yourself in a balanced state so you can see all of your solutions and not find yourself in a solution you don't want. And I think that's truly beneficial for anyone with anything that they have going on. And just like with dealing with horses, it's like they all have their own personality, right?
Yes.
And but if you come on aggressive, it's like they can feel that, or if you come on soft, they can also feel that. And if they have their own personality, sometimes they may want to be stubborn and push back at you, right? And let's say if they do push back, what are you going to do? It's just like you're training another being of how to manage their own energy as well, and they're using you as a teacher, you are using them as a teacher.
Right.
So I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Yeah. What else is going on? What's going on with you? I know you're talking about some healing stuff or the process of healing or anything like that.
Yeah, and I was feeling that my healing is definitely increasing just by our talking.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Um, and what I'm doing afterwards, I'm going to be adding more magnesium to my skin to help reduce the calcium.
Mm.
So that'll do much better. But it's just amazing how I'm feeling. I'm feeling a little twitches in different areas, and it's like, okay, I'm healing more. It's just healing in a different area
Mhm.
that I didn't even know that needed healing. But it's it's remarkable that I am healing so accelerated at this moment.
Mhm.
Since I sat down, it's like, what's going on? Why can't I do this? I can raise my arm. I haven't been able to do that in a
Mhm.
while. So
Mhm.
it's like, okay. And I know
Yes.
it's you. I mean, it's your energy that's assisting me in this.
Well,
I appreciate that.
and a lot of it is also unconscious questions that probably need answers to.
Yeah, probably. And right now I can't.
So,
But so when did you realize you were a mystic? I'll just do that quick question.
well, I would have to really start whenever I was. I At that time I didn't have a term,
Okay.
and it actually happened whenever I was extremely young. Even I remember when I was young, my mother at that time, we were old school. She used to give me baths in the sink.
Hmm.
So when she was giving me baths in the sink, I was looking at my mother and myself while I was in the sink. So I'm already having like out of body experiences from seeing me as a baby and my mother doing what she's doing. And then just growing up, like playing in sports and everything. Anytime that like uh, I was a little faster than a lot of other people because I got put into sports and I didn't want to be in there. So my my way of becoming good was not getting hit and running as fast as I could. So,
Was
but
it football?
yes.
Okay.
So in order to do that and able to not get hit, like there was moments where I would come out of my body and see the field from a different angle. And they actually caught this on tape where I would go into like a running back. There's like a pocket, and then run out and like go in a field where there in where I was at, there was no way of seeing with my eyes. And then also the other coaches in the team was like, we can never really hit Montell in the way that we want to hit him. He's always shifty or moving at the last minute. And I give that gratitude to my team, my team of my spirits and everything else. So those were the practicing grounds of like understanding and how to use the ability, but also like, and I'm still six around this time. One was that whenever like I used to go travel around with my grandfather, and he used to actually go and build homes in different like different cities and everything, and um, like he used to also he was actually a pastor. His name was John. It's pretty funny, and he used to uh, go and like talk, and he used to like explain different aspects of the Bible in its own way about everything. And in this time, hearing these stories, and this is what I said, like I'm placed in place to understand. Oh, this is what happened. So that's another training field that I got to where I knew like I was being prepared to deal with something in the future, because I never really, I always felt like the whole truth is not being told. And then I always felt like when someone said, "Oh, he died for us," I've always looked at, no, there's a moment where people could choose to let him live or not, and they chose because they didn't know to let him die. So then how could we ever say someone has died for us and actually go in those ideas? So that mindset was another mindset that I have and that I saw and I felt strongly about. To say that, yeah, there's something different going on, because my surroundings supposed to want me to think this, and it's just like, no, something's off, right?
Yeah.
And then there's one time when my grandfather was going out and cleaning up a porch, and then I had this vision of this snake, and then I shared it with him, and um, next thing you know, there was a snake under the couch. He pulled it back, and he was just like, "Oh, like you have some gifts."
Oh, wow.
And then actually seeing different dimensional beings coming in and out the walls, walk through the house. It's just like it stories can go on and go on and go on. So I was extremely young. Uh, I was extremely young whenever I started to really realize. So yeah, and I just got them reading Harley. Yeah, he was a man of his own, but he also taught lessons through some of the stories. You know, he taught lessons. And I was reading Harley's post. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
he, it was interesting that his name was John and he was a carpenter, and I
Oh,
was
wow.
amazed. I was amazed at that he um, he would go into a space and he would just visualize how the home was going to be, and then he would build it from scratch, and then you'll see his writings on the boards, on the 2x4s of everything that he done. Like he
Oh,
had
wow.
he had a gift, but during that time he used it utilizing the Bible to teach. So I thought that was very interesting, because that was his time frame of everything, of like, oh, what I'm going through, this must be it. And also he was a healer as well, but in his time frame, he didn't know about necessarily what we were talking about. You see, so
Right. Definitely.
um, it was like I used to go around to by myself. I used to go to like different places and explore the different energies, because I was sensitive to it. And also popping out the body, having other dimensional beings come in and actually show me like the abilities that I could do with the energy that I have. And like I said, they come and told me, it was really funny that one of the analogies said, Montell, they said you are an elephant surrounded by pigs. And
Wow.
at that time, where I was at, I was like, wow, that's kind of blunt, and could be could be seen. And now it's just like, at that time, very young, these things were just normal to me, and I didn't necessarily know what that meant. But then as I got older and I started to really, I remember having this feeling, it's like, okay, I had enough. I'm gonna really speak now, because of the things at a very young age that I saw people doing. And and there was a moment, even in class, like I I told the universe to release my abilities, because like there's a point that I could raise my energy, then I felt like I was hitting a wall.
Yeah.
But there were some things I couldn't access at a very young age, because I had checkpoints I needed to be at certain places. So there were, because of those checkpoints, once I was there and then I had a full understanding, it was just like bloop, level lifted, bloop, level lifted. So then so then it was like, once I got a full just of like what the battle truly is, then it was like, okay, create, create, go out there, explore more, show people that this exists, create. And sometimes the funniest thing is sometimes starting off, I will have absolutely nothing in my pocket. And then out of nowhere, I'll have whatever I need. I remember being young and just thinking about, I wonder if I can get some money out this ATM. As soon as I'm over there, $5 will pop out. So it's just like I've been really looked after, protected, guided, and by um, source. Uh, but also, I have to make those decisions and also stand by what I'm here for.
Right.
You know, but to experience, to truly understand what to talk about, how to talk about it, to communicate with other people, I firsthand went into the darkest of holes and understood, like, hey, what makes this dark? And then witness the change within these dark holes because of just the energy. you know and then it's just like, oh, that's a great thing to talk about. Let's talk about this, and come out more. So it's like life in itself has been true adventure for me. And and once again, that's where it went down to, yeah, just I had amazing amount of teachers, and the teachers are, and it's not like they sit there and tell me what to do. It's like you
That's your
you
grandfather. That's what she said. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted you to see that she had said she was talking about your grandfather.
mm, no, yeah.
But you had lots of teachers. You were saying?
Well, yeah, and the teachers are not like they stand there and they tell you what to do. It's more at a certain point they just show you they exist.
Oh,
And then, like I said, with telepathy, it's just like you get those impressions of, oh yeah, and it's never like, they never come to me as they're over me. It was always as, yo, do what you came here to do, brother. Let's get it. You know, we got your back. You got an army behind you. You're leading the charge right now. Go forward. And they trust and understand that I will go forward. I will be consistent, be growing, and also look forward with everything that I need to bring forth. And uh, you know that's why they say that your mind is different, because you're able to walk through hell and come out cold. And and while you're in hell, you're going to look at the beauty of hell as well. You're going to say, oh, that's a beautiful flame over there. Hey, how you make that? And I'm just using this as metaphor to
right.
understand of the picture of my mind. I also think that I'm always a wondering of, like, what more can I figure out today? What else is presented? I have that hunger and idea of, like, oh, that's cool. And then just to see the consistency of it going back and forth, of, like, even hearing, all right, it's time to rest, you know, and that's a huge thing as well. Make sure everybody's good, because then when you rest, once again, you're going into other dimensions. So learn to explore through there as well. And then when it comes to whoever you come across, your level of energy of knowledge plus your vocabulary can align, plus experience mixed with confidence of knowing, and it will come through your voice. It will, you will, everything that you say, it it will hit someone in a certain way that even if they don't admit it, they will feel it, and then it will give them that idea just to wonder. And then from that wonder will bring enough knowledge to prepare them for the next experience that they have coming.
Great.
So
And okay.
it's interesting. I saw some. I want to make sure we reply to some of these other things. I'm sorry, I don't want to keep talking and everything. See,
You're fine. I just wanted to. She was saying, Harley was saying that she had it dreamt with a pig. There was a biblical message given. I couldn't figure it out today and thought of asking. I say this on all that I love. And then I thought it was something after that. She talked about the pig again. Oh, hold on a minute. Maybe I'm going the wrong way. Oh, in the dream, it was I don't know what severed cage, and I was able to find him by feeling his sound. LOL, sound was his way of speaking. The biblical message was given by an unseen voice, maybe coincidence. That she was thinking of pigs as you were saying about the pig, you're the elephant and the pigs.
well, I think that sometimes if if you, let's say, I don't really I don't really necessarily like using that analogy, to be quite honest with you, just because I was I don't want it. I don't like being, let's just say, if a person is indulging in something unknowingly and they're consuming um, just anything, then their insides is going to show without asking.
Yeah.
And I think that the elephant idea was that it stands taller than pigs, so its perspective is a little different, right?
Yes.
And its behavior is different because of the perspective. But the elephant's powerful because of its perspective, because of its size, and also because of its reach of its trunk, right? And you you may have started off surrounded thinking that you may be a pig because there's just other people, so many people doing these things from these different perspectives, indulging in things that they can't even see where it comes from, right? So it's just like an elephant can grab an apple off of a tree, but a pig can only get the apple whenever it is possibly right and it's sitting on the ground for a while, right?
Right.
So, and it's not that the elephant is greater than the pig. It's just that its perspective to gain knowledge and see other doors are differently just because of the design.
Right.
Unless the pig decides to evolve. What this means is that what if the elephant picked this apple off of the tree, brought it down to the pig, and offered it, and then also explained to the pig why that those other apples are not good, right?
Right.
But maybe because of the nature of the pig will just constantly just try to eat to be full, but not necessarily try to eat to be healthy.
Right.
So,
One of the other things is looking at the pig's perspective, or the only thing supposedly that elephants don't like are mice, whereas the pig can handle that a lot easier. So, I mean, I was thinking, and the thoughts of you, what you're saying for the elephant, but the pig
right,
is a very important as well.
100%. So, let's say if the pig did not eat up those apples to some extent, then what would happen then?
Right.
You know, would the elephant get fungus in his toes and lose his foot? You know, so,
I like that idea. Yeah.
but
And also, they usually take the seeds because they're
all right, and then they spread it, right?
right.
And then more apple seeds can be made. But so like I said, there's not one greater. It's just working together. There's a purpose,
Yes.
and and for whatever reason, you know, everyone has their gifts and everything, but also I I believe that the pigs can evolve to something else because um, I mean there's different degrees of pigs in the pigs family as well, different DNA, but also you know come in talking about back in the day, just the idea, and this is something that I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm going to say that we ask ourselves, is the pig only act like the pig because we treat it like a pig?
Exactly.
Now we're teaching even dogs how to speak our language, but so it's just like as teachers, just like the idea of the elephant, because of its perspective in some sense, it should be able to, hey, let's benefit each other. We both live in on this planet, so let's share each other's gift regardless of whatever it is. And by doing that, we will then be able to also come up with better plans to achieve our goals. And then that also goes back to, hey, we've been using these techniques for a while now. Let's create new techniques that everyone is benefiting in another way. And to go back to Scott's question of, um, come on, he's it made me feel like he wanted to be challenged more.
Yes, definitely.
You know, I because he's like, hey, there's so much more that could be asked. So challenge me because I'm looking forward to also learning more from what needs to be coming down into and everything. So and that's where I don't know if you checked your Facebook post. I'm not for sure how to post on here. I was just like, I actually put on that. We have to teach them how to ask, teach people what to ask and how to ask and where to ask. And because if not, then that's where people get stuck at. Because some people get to a wall that's just like, I don't I don't even know how to respond to this.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yes.
what to ask, so I'm not going to get involved because it makes them uncomfortable.
Right.
So,
No, I appreciate that. That's a nice perspective to, and I think I did see it. I can't remember right now, but and to remind us all that we have to help others be able to ask those questions. You went up to the gentleman, you saw that he was in pain. You asked, "Can I help you?" And he had to make the decision
mm,
in the middle of this store. Do I allow this to happen? And I'm sure he's a lot happier that he did.
well, because if not, once again, his he's sharing that pain with his other generations because he actually had like a wife and a daughter was there. So his daughter is seeing how he's handling pain. So
Right.
now he's starting to teach his daughter how to handle pain. So then whenever possibly one day when his daughter and my son cross paths, then do I want my son to deal with this manner of how some people handle pain? And see people get mad if they're in pain, right? So, and because people in pain, they commit shootings, they get in accidents, they start just teaching other people bad habits as well.
Right.
So I look at the full circle of, hey, this one drop in this pond may just do a small splash, but the ripple will go on forever. And so whenever I do something, I always look at, if do I want my child to go through the same thing coming from this act? Because I want them to push beyond everything I ever accomplished. I want you to continue my research, continue my learning. So I'm gonna share notes with you now as you're growing up to prepare you for what we got going on. But also I'm gonna teach you to keep your mind open and teach you to look for different perspectives and then show me what you see through your eyes. Because you just came from all that there is, right? You're fresh off the boat, my friend. So, so show me, show me what you know, and they may not say it in words, but watching. and being observant, and then being careful not to apply restraints that you had on you, but still being able to um, apply knowledge in a meaningful way that is learnable and teachable. So that's that's what I feel is, we'll be able to shift. You know, you got to think about some of these places where anger is being taught at. You
Yes,
know,
exactly.
some you got to ask yourself, do you think it's a coincidence that some political parties are going to campuses? It's
Yeah.
to where if you can influence someone while they're young, also somewhat knowing that they don't have the tools to fully communicate with you with everything that's going on in the world, that's a strategy.
Yes, very much so.
And then in our world, if you can hush someone by debate, they think that's a victory, right? But once again, who are you debating with? What is the knowledge of the people that you're debating with?
Right.
And also the people who are seeing this, like, we have to be wise enough to see strategies that are being used to influence our future. And we have to be able to approach those with an understanding of the intent of people and the energy they are applying and why they are applying it to, and and also go in there, what I said before, with a balance of understanding, because the moment you lose yourself, you lost the battle. So that's why I said it's not always about love and might. Is to be able to express your thoughts without being deterred emotionally, and then be aware of the rocks that could be thrown at you. But because if you have trained yourself to be so solid in understanding, you know what's going to come. You know that they're going to try to rattle you. But are you able to laugh at the silliness? So we really have to be aware whenever, especially as healers, because you are going to come across people who may not understand what you do, but then also try to condemn you. Speaking of that, someone tried to condemn me because I wear beads.
I'm hearing stuff right. Um, I love this. I could talk, listen to you for hours, like KK was saying, but
Yeah.
we are definitely over time.
Wow.
Um, neither one of us gets paid for this, so we're
Yeah.
not get,
Yeah.
so that has nothing to do with it. But we do have other things we've got to do. But
Mhm.
thank you so much, Montel. I didn't know what to expect, didn't expect anything, and I thought it was very beautiful. I love hearing about um, how you grew up. Usually I start with that, but um, the telepathy, again, when you're in that situation and you see anybody, whether it's on a campus or anything, and you see something that isn't resonating with you, I'll just use that word right now, and you know something is off, that you approach it with the telepathy. It's like
Yeah.
talk to yourself, what, and whomever comes in, that hey, this is not, yeah, what is
Don't
going on, and you might be able to touch base with them as well.
don't be consumed by anyone else's flame,
Yeah.
because once you're consumed by them, more than likely your response is going to come from the same flame. And then at that moment, you've just been possessed.
And you've accepted that possession.
You accepted it.
Yeah.
So that's why, you know, if someone wants to fight with you, it's like if you indulge, you entice, then you lost the battle already. It's like, no, there's no reason to fight. Like, I don't believe in the belief system you created within yourself that creates this moment that you created purposely to receive and to throw out this energy. So, for me, I would say, hey, relax, it's cool. Just,
Yes.
I'm gonna be fine when I leave here. You, and so are you. So just relax. But I appreciate everyone who was engaged in the conversation. Julie, I appreciate you having me on here. It was the line, and I can't believe we already hit almost 2 hours and
We're
what?
going on it, but
Yeah. So thank you, and thank everyone else from being involved with the questions or the statements. And I enjoyed my time. So I appreciate you guys so much.
thank you. Wanted to let you know that you can look at the description. It has his email on it. I did not add your website, but I did add your TikTok so that if you want to go see some of his videos and
Facebook.
also subscribe. Well, I did your TikTok because it popped up for me. I haven't
Uh,
done your Facebook yet, but
and to
uh,
be honest with you, like I said, to me, those sources are just moments of like I'm inspired for art or anything like that. So, but I think Facebook is probably the one that I'm probably on there more constantly with.
okay.
And TikTok is it's like just kind of like an add-on of like, hey, if I'm inspired to show this perspective, I'm gonna do it. But yeah, you guys do what you want. Do what
Yeah.
you want.
Well, I saw your dog on that one on
Oh,
TikTok, and it was
oh,
like, oh, because um, it looked a lot like Don's dog
hmm,
Ghost. So I thought, oh, this is so beautiful. That.
yeah. No, he's a lot bigger than he was in that one. Now if I let him out, like if he stood on his hind legs, his head would probably be where the lion's eyes are right now. He's huge. So,
We didn't even get into the lion. We'll do that.
oh
Um,
yeah,
Harley said she'd love to see you back. So we'll see. We might do some highlight reels. We might do some a podcast, which is not live. Now I prefer the live because I love the
I,
interaction.
I love the interaction as well because I love to hear their stories, and also I love the feedback of how it resonated with people, because it's like we just live life, and the fact that a person can resonate with it's lovely. So
Yeah, it is. Hold on just a second. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. Remember, Angie and Don most likely will be on tonight. Don and Shauna tomorrow. I will be on Friday with Scott. Um, Friday evening is Sarah and Bonnie. Susan will not be on Saturday. She is on a cruise, so she won't be here. Uh, Sunday morning, Bonnie and Jess, hopefully. And then we start the week over again next week. So you'll get your readings if you go online and check the other shows out. Thank you guys so much for coming in and participating. It's always great to see you guys from
awesome,
all over the world. Have a
awesome.
great one, everybody. Any last words?
uh, Live life in the way that you want.